Assalamu alaikum. This is Pratusha Burwal welcoming you to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the top stories. Verdict in murder case of child Ramisa in capital's Poldobi on June 7. Rain may start middle of month after ongoing heat wave, followed by another one, informs Meteorological Office. Prime Minister Tareq Rahman directs to reopen closed factories and find effective ways making unprofitables to profitables warn quickly. Zia Rahman gives people identity and his image emerging in Tareq Rahman, says LGRD Minister. No incident of luggage cutting of Hajj passengers at Dhaka Airport, claims State Minister for Aviation. Measure passed in U.S. House of Representatives preventing Trump from attacking Iran. And Bangladesh women's cricket team faces Netherlands in sixth match of Tri-Nation T20 series in Edinburgh. Viewers, those were the top stories. Now moving on to the details. A special tribunal has set Sunday for delivering its judgment in a case filed of the rape and murder of second-grade student Ramisa Akhtar. Judge Mushur Salakin of the Dhaka Metropolitan Children's Violence Suppression Tribunal fixed the date after the prosecution and defense concluded their arguments. The prosecution, in its closing submissions, sought the maximum punishment for both accused. Earlier on June 3, the two accused, Sohail Rana and his wife Shapna Akhtar, made their self-defense statements before the court, prompting the tribunal to fix today for arguments. On June 2, the tribunal completed recording the depositions of prosecution witnesses in the case. 16 of the 18 enlisted prosecution witnesses testified and were subsequently cross-examined by the defense. The tribunal framed charges in the case of June 1. The country is experiencing a severe heat wave causing significant discomfort for people across the country. The scorching sun and high humidity have made conditions particularly uncomfortable for city residents. Many people are turning to roadside shops for drinking water and other refreshments to cope with the extreme heat. Meteorologist Dr. Mohammad Buzrul Rashid said there is a possibility of rainfall around the middle of June, which may bring some temporary relief. However, temperatures are expected to rise again towards the end of the month. He also noted that overall temperatures this year are likely to remain within a favorable range. Health experts have advised people, especially workers, children and the elderly, to stay hydrated, eat balanced meals and avoid going outdoors unnecessarily. They also stress the importance of following health guidelines to reduce the risk of heat-related illnesses. The government soon will organize road shows to attract local and foreign investments in closed and unprofitable state-owned factories. The decision was taken at a meeting of the Reopening and Management of Factories under the Ministry of Industries in the Bangladesh Secretariat, with Prime Minister Tareq Rahman in the chair. At the meeting, Prime Minister's Deputy Press Secretary Hassan Shiplu said, senior officials of the different institutions under the Ministry of Industries presented detailed reports on the current condition, challenges, prospects and required measures relating to the closed and unprofitable factories. Prime Minister Tareq Rahman directed the authorities concerned to identify effective ways to quickly reopen closed factories and turn unprofitable factories into profitable ones. The Prime Minister also placed special emphasis on attracting both domestic and foreign investments to these factories. Concerned officials informed the meeting that recommendations from an expert committee are being taken to reopen closed factories and make unprofitable factories profitable. Commerce and Industries Minister Khandokar Abdul Muqtadir, Prime Minister's advisor for Finance and Planning Rashidul Mahmoud Titumir, Bangladesh Investment Development Authority Executive Chairman Chaudhry Ashik Mahmoud bin Harun, and Prime Minister's Principal Secretary ABM Abdul Sattar were present at the meeting, among others. Prime Minister Tareq Rahman has sought continued support from development partners for Bangladesh's overall development and sustainable progress as United Nations Development Programme UNDP resident representative in Bangladesh Stephen Lila paid a courtesy call on him today. Stephen Lila met the Prime Minister at the Cabinet Division in Bangladesh Secretariat this morning. During the meeting, Tareq Rahman highlighted various initiatives undertaken to implement his government's electoral commitments. In this context, he referred to the family card and farmer card distribution programs and explained how these initiatives are contributing to improving the living standards of the country's people. At the time, the Premier sought continued support of development partners for Bangladesh's overall development and sustainable progress. During the meeting, the two sides exchanged views on ongoing cooperation between Bangladesh and UNDP, as well as various important issues relating to sustainable development, education, health, and employment. Both the sides emphasized the need to work together to make Bangladesh's development efforts more dynamic, inclusive, and effective. Stephen Lila congratulated Prime Minister Tareq Rahman on forming the government after securing an absolute majority in Parliament. He noted that from UNDP's perspective, the Jatiya সংসদ is now quite vibrant and that democracy in the country has been strengthened. Prime Minister's advisor for Education, Expatriates Welfare and Overseas Employment and Labour and Employment, Mahdi Amin, UNDP Bangladesh Strategic Communication and Outreach Specialist Kirtijoy Bahari, and Assistant Residents Representative Anwarul Haq were present during the meeting. The National Parliament has organized a two-day orientation program aimed at enhancing the capacity of members of Parliament in carrying out their parliamentary responsibilities and further strengthening democratic practices. The program focuses on various aspects of parliamentary affairs, including the Constitution, rules of procedure, the legislative process, and parliamentary operations. The inaugural session was addressed by Speaker Hafizuddin Ahmed, Deputy Speaker Barrister Kaisar Kamal, Chief Whip Muhammad Nurul Islam, and Leader of the Opposition Shufkur Rahman. Speaker Hafizuddin Ahmed Bir Bikram said that the establishment of the 13th National Parliament reflected the people's clear expectation of building an accountable and people-oriented legislature. The Speaker emphasized that the dignity and effectiveness of Parliament do not depend solely on its constitutional powers. Rather, he said the true foundation of Parliament lies in the trust and confidence of the people. The program also included discussions on the institutional role of Parliament, the submission of notices and motions, question and answer sessions, voting procedures, and mechanisms for ensuring the accountability of the executive branch. Local Government, Rural Development and Cooperatives Minister Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir said that Ziaur Rahman gave the people of this land a distinct identity. Meanwhile, Information and Broadcasting Minister Zohiruddin Shapun said that due to Ziaur Rahman's independent and non-aligned foreign policy, Bangladesh has not made any enemies around the world. He also claimed that even the President of India had recognized Zia as the proclaimer of Bangladesh's independence. They made these remarks at a seminar titled Ziaur Rahman's Independent and Non-Aligned Diplomacy in the Current Context, organized by the Press Institute of Bangladesh (PIB) in the capital this morning. Speakers at the event said that Ziaur Rahman initiated a realistic and pragmatic approach to diplomacy, moving beyond emotional considerations. They noted that he also laid the foundation for economic diplomacy in Bangladesh and helped establish the people of the country with a strong sense of their own identity. They further stated that the July uprising had defeated those who had spread various forms of propaganda against Ziaur Rahman. Participants at the seminar also expressed their view that India-related policy remains the greatest challenge in Bangladesh's foreign relations. Following the seminar, the guests visited a newspaper exhibition at PIB featuring reports and coverage related to Ziaur Rahman. State Minister for Civil Aviation Mohammad Rashiduzzaman Millat has said that there was no incident involving the cutting of 150 pieces of luggage belonging to Hajj pilgrims at Hazrat Shahjalal International Airport. Speaking at a press conference at the Secretariat today, the State Minister said that an immediate investigation was ordered after social media posts claimed that Hajj pilgrims' luggage had been tampered with. He said that all video footage from the unloading of luggage from the aircraft to its arrival at the baggage belts was thoroughly reviewed and no evidence of luggage being cut at Dhaka airport was found. According to the State Minister, out of a total of 836 pieces of luggage carried on Hajj return flights from Saudi Arabia, 21 were found damaged, while only 3 to 4 pieces showed signs of being cut. He added that the luggage is believed to have been damaged in Saudi Arabia and that a formal letter has been sent to Saudi authorities regarding the matter. The State Minister also announced that the first delivery of 14 aircraft purchased from Boeing from the national fleet is expected to arrive in 2031. Now, international news. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said no progress has been made in talks with the United States, though channels of communication remain open. Araghchi defended Tehran's attacks on U.S. allies in the Gulf region as self-defense and warned what sanctions and war failed to achieve won't be won with more war. Iran's foreign minister said Tehran has made clear that it will not remain silent in the face of an attack on Beirut. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump said negotiations with Iran are going very well. He has promised that the Strait of Hormuz will reopen immediately upon signing a deal with Tehran. Speaking at the White House, President Trump said if the deal happens, it could happen over the weekend. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Marco Rubio told Congress on Wednesday that the U.S. military operation against Iran has concluded, reiterating the message the Trump administration has been trying to push on the war despite continuing attacks by both sides. Rubio said, American strikes on Iran now were completely defensive in nature and intended to protect civilian cargo ships trying to cross the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, the U.S. House of Representatives has backed a Democratic-led resolution aiming to stop the Iran war until hostilities are authorized by Congress. The House passed the War Powers Resolution 215 votes to 208, with 4 Republicans crossing party lines to join Democrats in support of the measure. The move reflects growing congressional concerns, even among Trump's Republicans, over the conflict. Israel and Lebanon have agreed to renew their fragile ceasefire. The two countries also agreed to create a number of pilot security zones inside Lebanon in which Hezbollah operatives would be banned. A joint statement of U.S. State Department and Lebanon said the agreement was contingent on a complete cessation of attacks by the Iran-backed armed group Hezbollah, among other conditions. The agreement was announced in Washington on Wednesday after Israeli strikes killed at least 9 people in southern Lebanon and Hezbollah fired rockets into northern Israel. Meanwhile, despite the renewal of ceasefire, Lebanon state media reported that Israeli strikes continued in the south of Lebanon on Thursday, with at least one strike causing casualties. On the other hand, an unfilled peacekeeper has died in the early morning hours after mortar rounds struck his position near Marjouan in southern Lebanon. The peacekeepers sustained critical injuries in the barrage, the UN mission said in a statement, without indicating a nationality or who was responsible for the attack. 2 other UN peacekeepers were wounded during the mortar fire. Israeli strikes killed at least 9 Palestinians in separate attacks in the Gaza Strip on Thursday. A spokesman for the Civil Defense Agency in the Palestinian territory, Mohammed Bassal, said 7 killed in strikes on residential buildings and 1 in Al-Shati refugee camp to the west of Gaza City. Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza City also reported 15 people wounded in the strikes. Despite a truce technically in effect since October, daily violence has rocked the Gaza Strip, over half of which is under Israeli military control in defiance of the ceasefire's terms. Israel has killed at least 936 people since the ceasefire began, according to Gaza's health ministry, which operates under Hamas authority and whose figures are considered reliable by the UN. Both Hamas and Israel accuse each other of violating the ceasefire. At least 5 patients died after a massive fire broke out at a private hospital in Bihar. The blaze erupted in the intensive care unit on the 5th floor of the Prasad Hospital located in the Muzaffarpur district. The death count is expected to rise as rescue efforts continue. According to reports by Indian media, the fire broke out at around 3:55 a.m. local time in the ICU located on the 5th floor of Prasad Hospital in Muzaffarpur. The administration has started a high-level investigation into the entire incident. Preliminary reports suggest that a short circuit caused the fire. Bihar Chief Minister Samrat Chaudhary expressed grief on the tragic deaths and extended his condolences to the families of victims. He announced 4 lakh rupees compensation to the families of the dead. Now, sports news. Cricket. Bangladesh is facing Netherlands in the final and 6th match of the Women's T20 Tri-Series at the Grange Club in Edinburgh. The match was delayed due to rain and a wet outfield. The Bangladesh team bounced back from early tournament losses to secure a comfortable 34-run victory against host Scotland.